What's going on, everyone? It's Marcellus back with another video. We're going to be going over some Baby Doge technicals today, and we got a nice pump. So, we're going to be talking about what just happened in Baby Doge and what we got coming up next. So, definitely hit that like button and subscribe. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, none of this is financial advice. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let's get straight to it. So, you can see Baby Doge is doing some nice numbers here. So, since the 7th, we've actually been increasing here inside of Baby Doge. So we went really from all the way at 1100, which was our support, all the way up here to where we're at now. And actually, we're almost very briefly breaking 1300 inside of Baby Doge, which is cool because the 1250 was actually our resistance. So all the way up here at about 1310, we peaked out here with Baby Doge. So we should still have some more movements to the upside. So let's talk about how far this could actually bring us. So yes, we passed the 1250 resistance that we're talking about here on the previous videos. So I guess now we can kind of take some of these out because I already had the previous ones up there. So let's just delete those. So now the next area for our resistance for Baby Doge is pretty much going to be up here at this next red area. The next red shaded area is pretty much supply and demand of less demand. It shows that we have less demand in this area. So typically when we hit areas like this, we do a pullback. So when we hit 1350, we could see a pullback bringing us down halfway, probably down to about 1300, and then another rise from there. And that's what I think could happen here for Baby Doge if we can actually break past this 1350 area. And if it wants to continue to go from there, then we have even more resistance areas all the way up here. But really, we're just looking at 1350 because right now we're at 1288. And once we get past that, then we can work our way up to 1520. But yeah, it's definitely pretty good to see that we're finally bullish a little bit here in Baby Doge. I'm not saying that we're 100% bullish, but over here you can see the 24-hour market control says it is in control by the bulls by 80%. So we are 80% bullish here. Now the oscillator is showing a little bit of volume, not hardly any actually. It's at the end part here, but before then we actually had some nice volume. When you look at it from this perspective here, that was some nice volume, but things are kind of slowing down here in the Baby Doge. But the 4-hour chart, let's look at that. So now that we're over here at the 4-hour chart, let's go ahead and take a scroll in on here. So you can see the 4-hour chart says that we just now got out of our low demand area. And we broke out of it with flying colors. That huge green candlestick almost at red. But yeah, the huge green candlestick pretty much indicating all buying pressure right there. And now you're seeing a little bit of a slowing down area here with Baby Doge right at that resistance. So still same thing, 1350. If we can get up there to that resistance, then that's going to be the next thing for Baby Doge, and that's what you should be looking out for next. Now, as for first, let's look at the burns though. So over here, you can see 7.12K of US dollars has been burned in Baby Doge in the last 24 hours, and that's about 5.53 trillion Baby Doge, 5.53 trillion, and this is Luna Classic. I was doing some trades on here. We're going to talk about Luna Classic right now because it's actually about to hit a good opportunity to buy maybe around 4,150, and that's pretty much where I'm trying to get in at if it continues to go down that low. But I'll talk about that later. Remember, none of this is financial advice, but I will talk about that later in another video. So, anyways, over here you can see 1.6 million new holders, not new holders, but total holders, which is 1,614,181. And yesterday we had the 614,171. So, not that many people overnight. I mean, actually, no, we had the 859 area. I don't know. Still, we got a few hundred people overnight. So yesterday was 1,613,859. So yeah, we got a few hundred people. Every single day we're getting a few hundred new holders into Baby Doge, which is actually pretty good for our growth. So that's always good to see. And you can see little bits of growth here for the last 14 days, really. But what we really want to look at now is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is doing some nice numbers. We predicted this in the previous video. So watch my previous Baby Doge video where I mentioned this. Right over here, this is where the resistance was actually broken here for Bitcoin. And we actually talked about this inside of the previous video. But now that you've seen that resistance, now look at where we're finally at. So we did pull back like we thought we were. We kind of went up here, and then we did do that pullback. This is kind of crazy how I pretty much predicted almost the whole day. But one thing we didn't get correct here is this right here. I thought that when we hit this support here, we would almost immediately go back down to our support down here. But it looks like Bitcoin is actually holding stronger than I thought. And over here, now we're seeing a high activity area for institutional interest in dark pools. So that's this area right here. So institutional investors are really liking Bitcoin at this price. Now, we are still bullish by 80% in the last 24 hours. That's what it's telling us here. And also on the oscillator, what we're seeing here, we're about to have a bearish movement here. And this is why. So you can see the buying is literally slowing down. And now you're going to see little to no buying. That's kind of what it looks like right now. And obviously, this is just a short term. There's definitely going to be a lot of buying in Bitcoin coming in the near future. But for right now, and we're pretty much seeing this right here, and it's not that much of a selling wave followed by very small buying waves. So right now, I do think we're probably going to get some kind of consolidation here with Bitcoin. But this is probably going to end up bringing us. This is unpopular opinion. It's probably going to end up bringing us back down to 21.2K and then possibly back down there. And I still believe that this method right here that we actually were following is still valid because I was like, look, we're probably going to end up pulling back down here. And we did, but we didn't pull all the way back here. So we might actually end up doing that now. So it's definitely going to be pretty interesting to see because we already hit the peak all the way up here at about 21.8K. So what happens once we break this support and go back down to 20.2K? So I think there's going to be some good buying opportunities in between here. And I guess you can take that however you want it. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this financial advice. But yeah, like I said, I'm expecting a little bit of a pullback here. Even though it says high activity expected here, we could still pull back just to 21.1K and then continue to pump from there. So there's always that possibility to do something like that. Now, for the 4-hour chart here for Bitcoin, it looks a little bit different. And just very briefly, I guess I'm going to take off all these different drawings on the screen so you can really see everything. So it's looking like it's showing us inside of this low activity area, which means there's low activity going on in Bitcoin in that area. But if we were to break past this area, but remember, since it's low activity, it's going to be a little bit harder for us to break it, which is why I think we're probably going to hit the bottom of that. But if we do see the moderate or the high activity, then you'll probably end up seeing like huge buying, bringing us all the way back up here to that 23.2K support, possibly even up to a higher support at 26K, 25K, if we can have like a huge rally coming in. But right now, it's going to look really hard for us to get all the way up there. But the oscillator is showing us something very important. And this is exactly why the pullback is possible. When you look at the oscillator for the 4-hour chart, it shows we're in an overbought period, but we've already peaked in that overbought period, and now we're moving back down. After every single overbought period, we always have some selling, and it's always happening. It's always true. So every single time we get those overbuying areas, we always get those selling areas. So one thing that we're really noticing here with the Bitcoin selling, we're actually almost at the end of the bottom of the oscillator right here. So you're about to see the selling wave coming in even harder. So that pullback that I was talking about is definitely possible. 20.6K is what I'm looking for Bitcoin to pull back, possibly even 20K flat before we see an actual another pump here. And that's just my personal opinion. But anyways, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. But yeah, definitely go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. And as always, I'll be back with another video.